everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Hangouts. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Gina Versa.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Happy belated Turkey Day. It's
Mhm.
very cold every day now, unless you're
Pretty good.
outside, but we can't be outside anymore. LA just got another lockdown order, so all
Oh,
of
that's
our
right.
LA friends, listeners, podcasters, stay safe, take care of each other, wash your hands, masks, all that jazz. You know how it goes. But Gene, we got a different kind of show today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We're doing a interview with one of our guests, one of our listeners too. My good friend Chris White joining us today. How are you, Chris?
What's up, guys? Very good. Very good to be here. Thanks for having me.
And Chris, we're talking about your short film Rights, and it's been playing at some festivals, and we're gonna talk to you about that. But let me just do a brief recap of how we met each other, because known you like 5 years, but we met on the set of another guest that we had on here, film Awaken the Shadow Man. It was called something different, but it was produced by
It's
our
called
friend
The Ones Above
The Ones Above. That was the original name.
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was produced by our friend Woodrow Hancock, and yeah, you were the one of the producers on it.
That's right.
And dude, that was such a crazy experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, just how we met and everything?
Yeah, I mean that was cool. I think if I remember correctly, yeah, because I was on there as an assistant producer, and I was like hiring a lot of I guess extra staff at the time, and I did an interview. I interviewed you,
Yes.
I think, at a Starbucks, and also Kara too. I think at the same Starbucks,
Yeah.
not the same day. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, the rest is history. And then we started making films together.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was my first, real exposure, I guess, to the business side of, indie filmmaking, low budget filmmaking. I learned a lot, and I feel like you did too.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some God, there was a lot of stories on that. But yeah, no, it was just cool just meeting everyone, just getting, forming all these friendships and bonds, you especially.
Sure.
And yeah, when I've been in Florida, we've hung out and everything. And yeah, it's cool to see you going off and like doing your own thing, making these films. So yeah, man, really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
What have you been up to before we get more into the film side of things? We of course we always talk about what we've been watching, but just how in general, this is the first time we've met, so it feels even weird to just jump into this, but like how have you been
Yeah, go for
handling
it.
this year just as a creative? Is this the only thing that you're doing to stay afloat right now? And just how are you? Because I feel like that's the question we all need to ask ourselves this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always feel weird answering that because I always answer like in like so positively. Like I feel like I'm actually doing quite well. And I feel like that's the wrong answer. Because the world is fucking collapsing around us. So obviously I, am not happy about that. But, I have been lucky enough to, like I said, continue to teach at Valencia and some other schools online. And then also, I thank God I had, before COVID got out of control, I had just finished Rights. So, I wasn't in the middle of production, of filming anything, during COVID. That would have been really, really fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Having to, I can imagine, people, especially beginning artists, beginning filmmakers, just starting off, and they're just starting, maybe say their first or their second film, and then COVID hits, and then they have to put the brakes on for months. That, I imagine, I really feel their pain. Anyone who had to go through that, because that's just so frustrating. I mean, even just on a regular film set, especially when it's your movie, it's your money, it's your vision, and then even there's just like a slight holdup, that is fucking terrible, and I feel like hard to even deal with. So, I guess to return to your question, I have been, I'm very grateful, and that I've been, pretty lucky in this situation. And, I spend a lot of time in post production anyway, so that kind of lasted me for most of this year
Yeah.
with rights. So yes, I'm okay. I'm getting plenty of sleep and exercise and trying to stay positive.
Yeah, that's all you can do at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I think things are overall looking better. There's a outline of light at the end of the tunnel, but yeah,
Silver lining. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I just need to make it through like 2 or 3 more months. Give or take, give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not trying to make this like a downer episode or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
But I think honestly that it's good that you're feeling good. I think right now we could just take the wins we can get, and I like hearing that people are out there who are doing all right. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
On a much lighter note, what have you been watching? Have you been watching a lot of
Ooh,
stuff in
yes, so
quarantine?
I was looking forward to this question. So this is a question I've been waiting for. So I actually just random. So a couple nights ago, I put on. This is like maybe the 5th or 6th time I've seen it. Force Majeure. You guys seen this film?
Yeah.
Is it the remake? It's the movie that created had that Will Ferrell remake, right?
Oh God, did it? I don't know. Oh fuck, you're right. No, forget that shit. The original
Yeah.
Force Majeure. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. From I guess it's technically I'm not really sure. I guess it takes place in France at a ski
Mhm.
resort in France. But they speak, I think, in both in French and fuck, I don't know, maybe Dutch or something. I'm not sure what the what the
Dutch,
is.
Danish, one of those.
Yeah, one of those in that that region that all sounds the same to me. But I watched that. Still very good. Maybe I guess it didn't hit me as hard as it did when I first saw it in the theater. I guess that makes sense that it wouldn't. But still really lived up to the memory that I had of it. And then last night, actually, I started rewatching Carol.
Oh, I love that movie.
First time in a while. I don't know. I'd been thinking a lot about like 16 millimeter and like that grainy kind of film look. And I was like, oh, what movies like can I really get like that look from? I don't know. I was just in the mood for that, and I was browsing my library, and I was like, oh yeah, Carol, perfect. And it just looks so goddamn good. The 16 millimeter that I shot it on, I don't know if I'm guessing they're using like $70,000-$80,000 lenses on top of that or something.
Yeah.
But it's really, really gorgeous. Yeah. And then, tons of other movies that I watched, I rewatched Gravity, I think about a week ago, which was, good as I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up Carol and 16 millimeter because we're heading to Christmas season. Carol has a little Christmas vibe going on in there.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love 16 millimeter. I'm not like a film versus digital purist at all, but I love that look, that grainy, warm feeling. And if you apply it to like a horror movie, it gets like really disturbing. And there's just like, I don't know. I find it very comforting,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love to hear you say comforting because, I mean, it really is. There's something about it that is kind of a warmth that I mean, and people say that word all the time. Oh, it's just warmer. But I really think it's kind of appropriate because it just does have kind of that, like you said, almost, you can't help but have this vintage this look to it, and kind of this coziness almost. My dream, I would love to. I don't have the balls to do it yet, but or really the technical skill set, frankly. But I would love to shoot something fairly big, horror based in 16 millimeter. I I really am planning to do that at some point. But speaking of which, did you guys see First Man that came out in 2018?
I
Yeah,
did, yeah,
I did.
yeah.
We
Yeah, so that too, I think was a great example of just like a really cool modern, repurposing of 16 millimeter. I don't know. I mean, whether or not you liked the movie, I think it was definitely unique. I feel like in the way that they the visuals and the whole look of it. I really admire that movie a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And
and,
yeah, because I guess they use like there's some of the space stuff I think is like IMAX, but yeah, no one talks about the 16 millimeter stuff on like the Earth based stuff. And
Yeah.
I think we're both big fans, right, Gene, of that movie?
Yes, that was one of my like top 10 or something.
Okay,
2018.
yeah.
Nice.
But like that was so underseen. Like I'd always like bring that up to people, and they're like, "What? Like what was that movie?"
Yeah, it's really sad. Like nobody talks about the movie. Nobody knows about hardly anyone seems to know about the fucking movie.
Mhm.
And again, I agree with you, Gene. It was like one of the best movies I feel like to come out that year. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it
Right.
really went under the radar for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, that one really stuck with me. It's because I mean, it's just not just a space movie. It's also it's like it's more about this father like losing his daughter
Mhm.
and how he copes with that. So yeah, I really appreciated like that emotional look.
Yeah, definitely. It was very definitely very emotionally driven movie, and also managed to balance that with a lot of, I don't know, I mean, excitement and action
Mhm.
and just really cool, and their space sequences and stuff. I if anything, just the uniqueness
Mhm.
of those images, I think was just like really cool,
Yeah,
really fun, which is why I was just surprised that it didn't really, you know, get more attention.
right.
Like,
And like all the performances are great. So I don't know like that could have drove people. It has Corey Stoll as Buzz Aldrin. He's
oh,
that was
okay.
one of the best parts. Yeah. I wish they could have. If you guys ever seen that clip where it's like redone that clip of like Buzz Aldrin like punching a conspiracy theorist in the face
Mm,
because the guy's telling him the moon landing was fake and he just like gets up into his face. And
nice.
he's a 75-year-old man punching a 30-year-old guy and just knocking him out.
Oh, nice. That's what I need.
Yeah, just all the like anti-mask people just hit him in the face.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, that's one of the better films of that year for sure.
Yeah, it was and then I guess as far as on another note, I'm constantly reading. I'm reading The Three Musketeers right now. I don't know if you guys get down with like Alexander Dumas French swashbucklers.
Mhm.
Uh but that's been pretty interesting. I'm about halfway through that.
I
Um
love the concept of the Three Musketeers. I've never read it. I honestly I haven't been doing as much reading this year as I should have. My brain's just been like it felt like it's been on autopilot for a lot, which is probably why I'm watching like more TV than I usually do, for example.
uh-oh.
But
Uh-oh.
that's interesting. No, because I need to get down back into reading now. Like I used to be a big Shakespeare nerd
Oh,
in high school.
okay.
Like I not
Yeah.
acting, I don't want to act, but like I just found it so fascinating because so many people were like, oh, it's boring, and I'm like, this is the funniest thing like ever. It
Yeah.
doesn't I felt like a pretentious asshole, but I loved it, so it's cool to hear that other people like stuff from that era too.
Yeah, you say Shakespeare, I mean that's like, I guess technically Middle English. The Lighthouse isn't, I guess the Lighthouse is early modern English, but when I think of literature, for me it is kind of the language that is just so appealing. Obviously the story is incredibly important, but the way in which those stories were told uh, is just so dramatically different from the way in which stories are told now. And it's just, again, the reason why I think of The Lighthouse and why I just admire that movie so much is the script, is just the dialogue, the language. I don't understand how Robert Eggers really fucking did it, because the dialogue, I think, is just one of the most appealing parts of that film. I don't know if you guys are a fan, if you guys saw it, or what.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Yeah,
Great.
love
Great.
that movie.
We can continue this interview then.
Yeah, yeah.
You
This
say,
is
"Nah, I
really
gotta
the
be
big
off."
test we've been tossing out every once in a while. It's like, does this person like The Lighthouse then?
Yeah.
'Cause if not, then
Yeah.
we'll cut it short. We'll do like a 15-minute interview.
Yeah, there
Right.
you go. Yeah, well, I like, went through kind of an obsessive period with it, and I would just get high and just watch The Lighthouse, and I would just do it again and again and again and again. So I feel like I kind of ingested like that. I like live in that movie in a lot of ways. So yeah, anytime you guys want to talk about The Lighthouse, let me know.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
just
fuck yeah. I mean,
yeah.
we did a retrospective on, or not a retrospective. I get this things right. We did an episode on it last year with a guest from Talk Film Society, Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm still very proud of that episode, but I'm more than happy to talk about that even more because that's a great film. I guess before we get to what Gene and I have been watching too, I have to ask, what kinds of movies? It sounds like you like the vintage kind of style, but like what are your biggest like cinematic touchstones, I guess, for inspiration on your own projects or stuff that you want to work on in the future?
Yeah. That's always a fun question and a scary question. I mean, I guess honestly, Rob Eggers, I want to be him. I guess I'll just admit it. I really love what he's doing, and I'm really excited about The Northman that he's got coming. The cast looks amazing. The concept. I'm sure. Are you guys familiar with his upcoming film, The Northman?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Viking revenge epic, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That's
So-
amazing.
That's
Yeah, so whatever this like potential future Eggers is someone that I can't help but kind of be inspired by. You know, I used to really be pretty obsessed with Terrence Malick and his early filmography, especially the last few films he's done, with the exception of A Hidden Life, I thought were kind of stupid. But
I will go to bat for that like one IMAX movie he did for like all the museums. Was it like the Pat?
yeah,
was it-
Voyage of Time.
Yeah, Voyage of Time. I'll go to
Yeah.
bat for that one, but like none of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tree of Life, and the first 5 films, in my personal opinion, are like masterpieces. I think they're really unique, and they're really, in the world of cinema to be reckoned with, and something that you can't, like, if you're talking about cinema, it's impossible, I think, to talk around Malick, especially those first 5 films. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say that sounds pretentious as fuck, but I mean, just in my opinion, I think he's really fucking good, and he makes really, really unique stuff. And so there was a time before I was making movies where I never thought to myself like I could be that, or I never thought to myself I wanted to be that, because I don't really want to be a Malick or anything. I don't take myself that seriously. But you just ask about movies, that inspired me, movies that have really motivated me, and I think there'll always kind of be something there, or something of him, I guess in some small way, of what I do, although I make extremely different movies than that guy, and wouldn't even attempt to make the stuff that he's made. But yeah, I mean, definitely Malick. Children of Men, is just one of those movies. When you ask this question, I can't really avoid. I love Children of Men. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on. So
No, I like hearing that. I am also a huge Terrence Malick fan. I'm definitely in the minority that has enjoyed like the last decade of his stuff, but I
yeah,
do think like Hidden Life and
Mhm.
Tree of Life are like they clearly stand like head and above the pack of
Sure.
those, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm also glad to hear Children of Men because that might be a very relatable film lately for some people.
Yeah.
Like literally, just like it
Uh,
feels like the world is like that at times right now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Very much.
those are great ones. You know, people usually say stuff like Spielberg and George Lucas and stuff like that, and love those too.
Mhm.
Can't fucking avoid bringing up Star Wars on like any of these podcasts ever. But you know, I'm. It's just nice to hear that people have other touchstones like and inspirations too. It because cinema is
Yeah.
such a broad like
Well,
art
I'm
form.
I'm kind of an asshole when it comes to Star Wars. I would never say I dislike Star Wars or anything, but I don't love Star Wars in the way that most people love Star Wars. I mean, I have the first six on Blu-ray, so and I watch them frequently. I really like them, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't help but like the things that I'm inundated by as a consumer, as a viewer, the things that take zero effort. Um, I don't know. I just kind of tend to go in the other direction. I'm just kind of weird, and I like my movies kind of weird. I guess.
No, no,
The way
I
that
love that,
they
man. I mean, to
experience.
kind of shift over to what Gene and I are watching, then I haven't been watching a lot. We're doing like here you go. Here's a big pivot. We've been doing a Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra
Oh,
retrospective on
okay.
those, right? And so like
Yeah.
that's kind of all I've been watching lately and uploading
Soft
those.
soft candy colored. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's funny. I
it's very
actually
good.
watched Avatar for the first time. This was less than a month ago. I was like, fuck it. Like, you know what? I haven't seen it, and I had the Blu-ray. I was like, this movie gets a lot of shit, for good reason. It's silly, but at the same time, it's like kind of fucking mind blowing too on a visual level in so many ways. And so I was like, screw it. So I just put it in, and I watched about half of it, and I was like, okay, I think that's good enough. But still awesome though. Still just like a movie you can't. Again, it's like people can make fun of it as much as they want, but uh, on a I'm the type of person that's like I don't need a movie to check every single box in order for me to admire it, and this is actually how I think of Christopher Nolan's films. I mean, he's probably one of the most deeply flawed filmmakers that we have, but at the same time, he's so far and beyond in certain specific avenues than any other filmmaker too. So, and that it's the same with all of his movies. I think there are certain things about all of his movies where I'm just like, this is fucking terrible. He completely fucked this up. But then there are other aspects where I'm like, oh my god, that is so good, and it kind of almost it makes those aspects that I'm lukewarm on, I guess, a little bit more forgiving, if that makes sense. So
No, no, I totally understand because we have the movie. Right, we finished the first 3 seasons of the show. I'll be uploading the official Avatar: Last Airbender movie retrospective next week, like a day after this episode goes up, and there are thoughts, but I will say visually that film has just a lot going on, and
sure,
I'm not negative on all of that.
yeah,
There's my tease for that episode. Anything else I've been watching? I've been watching a lot of David Lynch because
nice,
Lynch is my boy.
great.
I've rewatched Inland Empire. Here's a confession, like once a
Oh
week
shit,
for like the last 2 months, and I
wow,
just can't stop. I am no closer to deciphering like any specific take on that film. I think I
Mhm.
brought it up on every episode that Gene and I have recorded too, but like it's so fascinating what he does with like the low res texture of like
Mhm.
the DV photography. It's basically like channel surfing a crazy person's mind, but
Oh,
it's
no.
also kind of like touching. And I think
Hmm.
I think he's trying to say something about like how much he loves like just doing what he does. I think he just loves making movies, obviously, but
Yeah.
like he's trying to convey something more sincere than the horrifying images he's presenting us with. I don't know. Lynch isn't for everyone, but uh, he is for
Yeah, I
me.
mean, I'm not the biggest Lynch fan, but I have several of his. I think I have I know I have Eraserhead on Criterion. I think I have Blue Velvet on Criterion. Um,
Oh, the
at least
essentials.
those two. Oh,
Hmm.
and I have Mulholland Drive on Criterion Collection.
Nice.
Like,
So yeah, I mean, I love the shit out of those movies.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's God, yeah. Again, like I can't help but admire um, the unique voice, the unique vision that he has, and just kind of the willingness to just say fuck it and just do it and just like do what's in his heart and not really give a shit.
Yeah. I saw two of those at the drive-in, Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive, about 2 months ago for Beyond Fest, and yeah, those still hold up. And I think at a drive-in they're even more creepy and mysterious.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that has to be perfect. Seeing those, especially those two at a drive-in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Love me some David Lynch as well.
Yeah. Confession: I still have not seen The Straight Story. That's the last
Oh,
one.
hey, it's on
I
like
feel like I know it's on Disney Plus and everything,
on
but
Disney
like
Plus. Yeah,
I I I don't know if I want to finish it yet until I know he has something for sure like that's finished and ready to release as well. I don't want it to be done.
yeah,
That's a completely selfish me thing, but I'll get there eventually.
for sure.
Are
Yeah.
you guys not to take this in a totally different direction, but
No,
well,
no, fuck it. That happens all the time.
yeah, it just made me think of the upcoming Fincher film
Oh,
Mank.
comes out
You guys
tonight.
got it from Mank?
I am excited.
I'm yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know if I'll see it like tonight at midnight because I'll like.
Oh, is it dropping today?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh
Right?
shit! I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh wow, I didn't
Yeah.
realize. Oh, that's
Yeah, so
exciting.
this will go up early for patrons a couple days before. So patrons, get out there and check out the new David Fincher movie. Um, we're recording this before this drops, so my quick take will be
I liked it.
I'll just put something there.
Nice.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
looks
also,
it looks awesome. And Gary Oldman is quite possibly my favorite actor.
okay.
I think he might be number one for me. I don't know. I don't know what it's about Gary that is just so like electric. He's
The
just such
yelling.
a huh?
It's just the yelling. Like, have you watched The Professional? Just him yelling.
No, he's
Yeah, no, he's
great for
intense. He's
sure.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean everything from Dracula, right, even to his recent stuff. I mean, the guy is just so versatile. He's so all over the place. It's nuts, just like the range that as a performer he can handle, and that he's
Mhm.
shown that he's been able to do. And also just like the amount of great movies that he's been in. I mean, you have guys like Daniel Day-Lewis, who's amazing, one of my favorite actors. But his filmography is like this. Like he's really. I feel like he's probably. I could be totally wrong on this, but I feel like he hasn't even been in half the amount of films as say like an Oldman or
Yeah.
something. So excited to see him, see what he does and make, and excited to see what Fincher, you know, pulls off and make as
Oh.
well.
For sure.
Yeah, I love Fincher. I'm very curious about this because I'm about to go off on a love tangent, and I'm
Do it.
also gonna say that I love his Alien 3. I know he's disowned it, but
Yeah.
I adore the assembly cut special edition, whatever it's
Mm.
called now. Alien 3. I'm very curious about your take on that.
Alien 3.
I've only seen it one time. I need to go back and watch Alien 3. Yeah, I'll admit I was part of the conventional whatever line of thought that it was the worst uh, of all of them. But yeah, I mean, I need to go back and it's just, especially the assembly cut, and check that out.
Yeah, yeah. The theatrical cut's missing like a straight up hour of film.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
So like I totally get why it had the reception it did. I tried to rewatch it and I just can't do it. But the quote unquote completed version, I know it was a hell of a film to make, but what got finished is like I think a real stunner of a film. But as for Fincher, like the work he has kept under his belt, I'm really excited for Mank because even the stuff I don't like adore from him,
Mhm.
it's just like no one operates on his level of like
Yeah.
technical expertise.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
It's weird.
it's insane.
There's something uncanny about like a Fincher film for that reason. It almost maybe kind of like robotic, and that there's just kind of this like you said, technical virtuosity, this like precision that he clearly just insists. I mean, I can't imagine how fucking. Maybe it's great, but I would imagine it's also partly fucking terrible working on a Fincher film.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
and terrifying. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
not, I
no
don't know.
gossip or anything here. But I like I don't know anything. But like I think there's probably a reason why so many of his projects have fallen through. Like I might be wrong. I might just be talking shit.
Yeah, maybe
Because
you're
I do love his work, but you know,
wrong.
he's known for like shooting 100 takes in time. And it's like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
these are human beings. But whatever.
Well, I heard there was a
Everyone's
scene
different.
in Mank. There's a scene in Mank apparently that he shot for an entire week.
Wow. It's like the dolly shot in Goodfellas, but like even more intense.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear about the dolly shot in Goodfellas.
Oh, the tracking shot, excuse me, with when they're going to the bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They shot that for like what, a long time or?
I think like a couple days, I believe, right?
Oh, okay.
Can you
I
go
mean,
back?
I might,
Mhm.
understand, be more forgiving of say something like that.
Right.
But just, a scene of talking heads, people at, having brunch or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Who knows? Like,
I don't really see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
I'm sure there's a method to his madness,
Right.
and-
yeah. And like he's one of the big like proponents of shooting digital, probably so he can shoot that many takes and not
Not spend that
to
much
wait.
money.
I bet that is the exact reason. I bet that's exactly why.
Yeah.
But before we get to the last segment, I just want to say that I also think it is kind of cool how big of a push he's made for digital because like everyone always has like the debate about CGI and whatever. And it's like, do you know how much CGI he hides in those movies because he knows how to use those tools? Like
Yeah.
it's insane. Like it's a total inspiration,
Yeah.
And then Mank, like I saw some people kind of dragging it on Twitter for like, oh, it's going for the old like pop and scratch sound aesthetics, and he's shooting digital, but he's trying to make it look like film. Like, why not shoot on film? Like, don't you
Yeah.
see like this is showing like the capabilities of what you can do with modern technology?
Right.
Like, to me, that's just super exciting. So
Yeah.
that's another reason I'm looking forward to that.
He wants to save money for sure.
Yeah.
Really quick, I was
Yeah.
just gonna.
Well, I mean, I guess too, though, you could make a case for kind of this like creative can I say that, creative recreation, I guess, or this like
yeah.
recreation of in a new way, which I think is really neat. I mean, I did that a little bit on my previous film, The Limits. We shot it all digital. We shot it on a red, but I mean, I don't know. It looks like film. I feel like I think we did a pretty good job of making it very, very, again, just like textured and warm and vintage looking. And it's interesting to think that what you do, giving your digital footage this retro look, you're kind of creating this whole other thing, as opposed to just literally shooting it, say on 35 millimeter or whatever, 60 millimeter or something. So, I mean, I think the digital versus film debate is just stupid, frankly. It's like, we like movies you know, and that's really all that I think I think we can keep it as simple as that. And I just want to have an option. I just want there to be both. Like,
Yeah.
give me the digital stuff. I think there's all kinds of unique things that you can do digitally. The Revenant, for example, you know, whether or not you like the movie, I mean, that movie probably realistically couldn't have been shot on film. You know, in order to get those kind of sequences captured literally in the Canadian wilderness, or they shot it in they shot it in Canada and Argentina. So literally in the fucking wilderness. I mean, yeah, you could shoot on film, but I think that having the freedom that Lubeski had, the cinematographer, you know, I think they shot on the Alexa Mini. I mean, that just probably opened so many doors for them creatively. So give me that, but also give me, you know, the Lighthouse, you know, give me like real film, you know, like give me, I want it all. So yeah, that's how I'll leave that.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Really quick, I was just gonna go over some movies I saw recently.
Yeah. By all means.
Yeah. Really want to put it out there. Everyone see Peninsula, the sequel to Train to Busan.
Oh shit!
Really enjoyed that.
I've seen Train to Busan.
Oh man, that's like, you know, Train to Busan. You'll just end up watching on Netflix when you can't decide. So you'll probably end up seeing it. But no, I felt like because it's a heist movie, but then it's also like an escape from New York. It like changes genres several times, and everyone should check that out. It's a little different from Train, but you know it manages to stand out. It really elevates the zombie genre. So really want to put that out there. Recommend that. I saw unfortunately Hillbilly Elegy, which no one should see.
Oh shit! I have no idea what that is.
It's like the Ron Howard movie on Netflix.
It sounds excellent.
No, it's
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie.
Okay, so I'll avoid that.
Yeah. And the opposite of that is like Uncle Frank, which was on Amazon Prime. I'd really recommend that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Alan Ball movie, right?
Yeah, that's the Alan Ball movie.
Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Definitely check that out. And then I was just like rewatching stuff like Black Christmas, the original, which I really enjoy. Kind of feels like timely, I guess, with Christmas this year.
Yeah. A cozy COVID Christmas.
Yeah. Like The Killer is like a
film called that.
You could make a case that The Killer is now representing COVID. So you know.
Never thought of that.
Yeah. That's what I took away, but yeah.
I'll definitely check out Train to Busan because I've heard of that, and
I
guess you said it's sequel Peninsula. I'll check those out.
Yeah, no, it's on Redbox, so
cool.
Yeah. Just want to throw those recommendations out there.
I've been meaning to watch Peninsula because I got really hyped from the trailer. But
it was a great trailer.
All right, but the last segment of the show, Chris, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about Rights, your most recent short film, and honestly your work in general that you'd like to highlight and where people could check it out if they can.
Yeah, so Rights is a film I just recently finished, as in like maybe only a month ago. It's kind of like an occult themed horror romance is a way I kind of like to think of it, with some hints of, you know, B movie kind of action and gore and violence. I just think it's so much fun, and it's so much fun to film that. So we have that going on there a little bit. It's about a gentleman named Sal, who has a very severe case of obsessive compulsive neurosis. And he has these really weird rituals, these rites that he kind of has to fulfill in order for him to, you know, feel normal and keep kind of his equilibrium. One of which is washing his hands, you know, at exactly 7:37 p.m. every night. And he loses the love of his life, Amy, who is actually a practitioner in the dark arts. And she is attacked and kidnapped. And he, at the start of the film, is attempting to undergo this kind of dark ritual with this psychic named Katerina to forget Amy, to kind of leave her behind, and move on. And he ends up doing something a little bit trickier than that, and ends up kind of fooling Katerina a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really enjoyed kind of the blending of genres, but like you know, I'm just like curious after like watching it. Would you consider it like a breakup movie? Because that's kind of the impression I got.
A breakup movie?
Yeah, where am I like,
I like that interpretation. I mean, I never really thought of it that way, but um, yeah, I mean, again, there's something really just kind of simple about it. It's really just about this relationship
mhm.
between Sal and Amy. Um, yeah, it's almost kind of, I guess it is kind of like a breakup movie. I mean, you know, they go through the split, and then he really has to kind of prove himself, I guess, in a way, or redeem himself to get her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting insight. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, just like at the top of my head, because I was like, huh, you know, like that's like kind of similar emotions, like, you know, he's trying to, you know, at the
Yeah,
beginning.
definitely.
Yeah. But
That's very cool.
yeah. But yeah, can you talk a little bit just kind of like your process like of just like writing it? Like, because I know, because you sent me like some of the Google Drive like way back ago, just kind of like, you know, you know, you make, it seems like you did like a lot of notes, and then just kind of like you know, the process of just like writing the film.
Yeah, I mean, I it really started, I guess, just with a lot of kind of broad ideas to begin with. I knew I wanted to do something occult based, just because I had been reading a lot of occult literature, Richard Cavendish, Scott Cunningham, both from the right hand path and the left hand path, and just, you know, and also too, to be honest, Hereditary
Oh,
was just something that it's just excited me so much. As flawed and crazy as that movie is, there's still something about it that really just kind of got into my soul in a lot of ways, and really just got me excited. And not only for horror cinema in general, but also just for some of its themes and its topics. Um, and because I'd never heard of like Paimon, right? Which is in
oh,
Hereditary, he's like the one of the nine kings of hell, or you know, and so I was like, what? This is, and then the sigil of Paimon in the film, which I had never seen before, and it was just so hideous and just scared the shit out of me. And so I kind of just went down that rabbit hole for a while and was reading a lot of stuff, and I was like, what can I do, you know, like in my apartment,
yeah,
like that is fun, that it's scary, but it's also kind of lighthearted, you know, it has almost like a sci-fi horror thing, you know, there's action to it. And I don't know, I started, when I write, I usually start with just a blank page, obviously, but I'm not using a film. I'm not using like a writing software
mhm.
or anything like that. At the beginning, I'm using usually just a Google Doc and just bullet points, and I kind of just like go for it, and I don't hold back because I'm fully aware that you know, later it's not going to be hardly any of this anyway. And I really just like dump it all out, and just any ideas that come to me that I'm thinking, I'll write down. Um, I'll let it sit for a day, and then I'll come back the next day, and then I'll tweak some things. I'll add some things here and there. And then once I feel like, you know, I worked on the characters for quite a bit. Their backstories, Saul, Amy, and Katerina, um, probably way more than necessary. But I had a pretty extensive backstory that I came up with for all three of them. And, you know, I think once I had a decent idea of a plot that excited me, a log line I felt was working and was tight, then I just started writing the script. And then as I'm writing the script, I'm kind of, picking, I'm taking notes as I write the script. I have two monitors, so I'm working on the script, and then, I'll just write completely random ass ideas on just another Google Doc, just to kind of have, so that then when I do a revision, I might incorporate those things. Yeah, I just rewrote it. I think I rewrote it maybe 7 or 8 times. Um, and I remember there being, a couple things where I was like, how the fuck do I make like this work? How do I get it to where like his motivation is clear here? And then just through kind of like, chipping away at it, the solution, presents itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the backstories really show just, you have like, you have him just like all his obsessive compulsive like tendencies. So, that kind of showed through the short film. I was going to add. I wanted to ask, like, did you ever get like when you're doing your research, because it seems like, your outlining process is really thorough. Did you ever get like when you were just like reading all this, like creeped out? You're like, all right, like that's enough for me tonight. Like reading all this like lore and all that. Because like
not too much. I mean, I don't know. I guess just because I feel like I was approaching it with a certain amount of reverence, in that, but also kind of balanced with, I feel like I helped the amount of skepticism or incredulity or whatever, if you will, just kind of like, oh, this is, I guess I just kept thinking of myself as a filmmaker, and it's like, okay, my job as a horror filmmaker is to make people feel gross and scared.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm just going to go there, and I'm going to really look into this. I would say one of the scariest things actually was just researching OCD and researching just, different neuroses, because that's just a whole freaky rabbit hole that you can go down. But I mean, I like to hear you ask that question, because that makes me wonder if you watching it, if you had like a bit of a creeped out feeling.
Like a little bit, like because I was gonna ask, like some of the like the props and everything like seemed really like authentic. Like
Yeah.
like did you like how did you go about like acquiring like, all right, I need like a statue of like a devil? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's a statue of Baphomet. And I got that, I think, off of Amazon, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. Yeah.
The Amazon guy was like, are you sure you want to buy this? But
yeah, I mean, it is intimidating, but that was really part of the fun.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that, that lends kind of an authenticity to the film itself, because the film scares me personally. I mean, it's fun. He's literally fighting demons with a knife. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fun attitude. I hope that kind of is communicated through it.
Like
almost like an action.
Yeah, I was gonna say like some of the like the blood and the gore and the effects like really have like kind of that like pulpy look to it, and then also like kind of reminded me of like the Keanu Reeves Constantine. Was it,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I only saw Constantine, I think, once or twice when it first came out, and I actually really liked Constantine.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I think that's like a pretty good movie.
But yeah, I mean, I really would love for you guys to see my previous film, The Limits, because it's even, I mean, it's probably 3 times as grandiose.
Yeah, like
in
the
terms
budget.
of
Yeah, the budget for that one like seemed like pretty like, pretty
substantial.
Yeah, substantial, yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, that's not how you make a short film. That's not how I would recommend a starting filmmaker to make their short film.
Yeah.
But we were lucky in a lot of ways, and we were able to do it actually while also saving a lot of money. And so I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome. I mean, obviously I'm not unbiased. It's my movie, but
Well, mm.
it is though. I mean, I would love for you guys to see it.
Well, I just
But
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I love the trailer, like for the limits where you have like that disclaimer, like right before.
yeah,
That was good.
totally unnecessary.
No,
If
I
anything,
thought
I
that.
almost regret that. It's like, why?
No,
But
I thought like that made it like that, like kind of got the feel of
yeah,
the movie and everything.
it's fun, and I wanted to do kind of like a grindhouse sort of, just grimy, grungy. The Limits is really, really just wonderfully grungy, in a lot of ways. And it's just literally pure action, action special effects. We had real in-camera detonations, so we didn't use CGI explosions. I mean, these were massive fucking bombs that we set off with black powder.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I would love for you guys to see The Limits.
Oh yeah, definitely. Did you ever get like did you ever like nervous a little bit with like some of the explosions or like just have a reaction?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, too, and on rights, the scene where he goes to kind of the underworld, to the Qliphoth, and where he fights these demons. He's surrounded by those torches, and those are the same torches that we used in The Limits. And that was really scary because the wind was blowing like crazy that night, and it was just blowing chunks of flame everywhere, and it would land on the grass. The grass would catch on fire. We had to use fire extinguishers, and there's part where where talent actually had to like lay down between these torches, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm going to jail. Like this is but amazingly, in both, maybe I shouldn't say this, but yeah, I'm kind of amazed that in both films nobody got hurt, because we did some really crazy stuff in both movies. But
Yeah. The
Well,
movie gods were on your side, looking.
Yeah.
They were looking, positively on you.
You know, I have a question about starting out with budgeting. What do you fund these by yourself? Do you do like a Kickstarter, GoFundMe kind of thing? How do you go about starting that process once you have the script and everything else in line?
yeah, so no, I'm kind of a maniac, and I didn't do any crowdfunding actually. So a lot of it was money that I had available, credit cards, uh, asking people for money. But I definitely on future projects am planning to get a little bit, I guess, more prudent with that, I suppose, and yeah, do some like real crowdfunding around a project. Yeah, because I really kind of just jumped in
Yeah.
for both of these.
No, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, like Sam Raimi did, some similar stuff to like fund Evil Dead. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna ask what advice you would give to up and coming starter filmmakers, because the best piece of advice I ever heard was stop telling people you're an aspiring filmmaker and just like do it. So I love to hear that you're just like, I just did it.
Yeah.
Like I like they also put the addendum, like maybe don't start with explosions and stuff though.
Yes.
But yeah, any advice you'd have?
Yeah, I always have the same piece of advice every time someone asks me, and it really is to the effect of what you said, which is just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing with any art form, is you don't really need any advice. The less I feel like you need advice, the more likely you are to actually start making films, and then you can start getting advice. But if you keep just asking, how do I do this? How do I start? How do I feel like you're going to slow yourself down, and I also feel like you are putting yourself in danger of becoming more disheartened that way. Whereas if you say, you know what, I love movies and I have movies in my head, like I'm just going to fucking do it. If you do it that way, in my opinion, then I feel like you are less likely to get discouraged
Yeah.
because at that point it's more of just a creed. It's more of kind of a code. It's just like it's just something that I do. And I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't care what people think. I don't care even if it turns out as well as I hope or as good as I hope, right? Because I'm just going to keep on going, and I'm going to get better and better and better. And so I like to think of it again as, like I said, more of like a, um, again, just kind of a code that you have. It's just something that you do. The same with a writer, there's that cliche saying, well, what makes a writer? A writer writes. Well, you need to actually do some writing if you want to be a writer. Well, you need to do some filmmaking if you want to be a filmmaker. So I'll start off with that. But I realize that's not going to be satisfying to a lot of people. So I guess I'll add this. I'll actually go against what I just said to do, and I will actually give some advice. And that would be, first of all, don't think that you need X, Y, and Z, right? A lot of filmmakers think, oh, I need this camera and I need, this, whatever, this editing software, and I need this and this, and then I'm ready to go. And I feel like we're all kind of filmmakers are collectively realizing together, or at least I feel like in the last couple of years, I've started to really realize that that's just complete bullshit. If you have a camera that can shoot 1080p, right, you have everything that you need, right? If you have a camera that can shoot 1080p and you have Google Docs, or you have a pen and a paper for that matter, that's literally all you fucking need.
Yeah.
Because from there, those two things, you can, the real hard work comes down to, what can I do with this limited means? And that's why I say, don't start making movies the way I started making movies. It's not really a good example with the limits. I'll just be completely honest about that. They had that saying, right? Keep it simple, stupid. And that's something that I am only recently learning, after spending all this money and making these movies. I don't have any regrets because I think they're awesome movies, but it's still an incredibly valuable lesson, and it's something that is, I think all artists agree upon, that really your creative power comes down to what it is that you can do. So, I would just say, again, to kind of wrap this up, number one, just like do it, just start doing it. And then, number two, learn to really love what it is that you have available to you, because then that'll kind of open doors for what you can do creatively with what you already have. And that will, make you a better filmmaker, make you a more resourceful filmmaker. And then you'll be unstoppable.
Nice. Oh, dude, words to live by.
Yeah. On that note, Gene, anything else we want to go over before we tap out?
Oh yeah, just because we're just a little light on time, but Chris, can you talk a little just about like the festivals right now? Because I know you are submitting. You had like the limits at the Popcorn Fright Fest last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Just how do you feel about that? Because most of them are online now. So just, do you want to talk a little bit about that if anyone's like interested?
Yeah, I mean it kind of sucks in a lot of ways with COVID. I don't even know. I don't honestly, not to really be a Debbie Downer all of a sudden, but I really wonder the future of this. And it's like, if all film festivals are going to be online, I guess that could end up being cool,
Yeah.
but that is very unappealing to me personally. I had so much fun, going to festivals for the limits, talking to people, meeting people, like being, around people and seeing, these movies on a big screen. I mean, that is what it's all about. And, not to be insensitive to COVID or anything like that, but we got to find in my humble personal, I might not know shit about it opinion.
Yeah.
We got to find a way to keep that alive. I'm
Mhm.
sure there is a way. I mean, they're finding clever ways, to keep other businesses going, and you know, I think to somewhat relatively contain it.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, we got to find a way to do that for the film industry
Yeah.
because it is the communal aspect
Mhm.
of watching a movie that is, I think, such an essential and unique part of the art form.
Yeah.
Is experiencing that with, especially with people that you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun.
Well,
Um,
I was gonna say, for this festival, it's called Beyond Fest. I think I probably mentioned it. They did their festival like it was all drive-in. So like,
oh,
they,
cool.
yeah, like that's what they did this year. So that
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there'll be ways. I mean, and my hope too also is that, we'll have a vaccine, uh, and it looks like that's coming early next year, at least first quarter next year. And, a lot of the big festivals that are coming up aren't coming up until at least next summer or
Mhm.
and next fall. So about a year from now. So, my hope is that those festivals will just kind of they'll have something going on that is somewhat resembles what was going on before.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little worried about this idea of just everything going online. Um, so yeah, I mean the I think there is a possibility that some of these festivals coming up that hopefully we'll be able to get rights into will at least some of them hopefully will be in person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Here's hoping. I mean, hey, we can't like predict the future for the next year, and like when we went into 2020, like we had no idea this was gonna happen. So like maybe in 2021 we'll see the opposite of that. You know?
that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
just
like your
positive.
optimism.
Yeah, like some positive thoughts. I don't know. Like hopefully we'll see what happens. Like just
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, I'm like thinking out there.
On that
Yeah.
note, let's wrap up the show. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today. Where can the people find you? Where can they find your work if available? And yeah, social media. Is any other plugs you'd like to give to send the good people on their way?
Wow, I feel so unprepared. I should have known that you're gonna ask that. I'm so
Oh,
bad.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so bad. No, that's such a great thing and favor of you to do for me to ask that, and I wish I was more prepared, because I'm so shitty with social media, to be perfectly honest. But I have two accounts on Instagram. The one that is more filmmaking based is my Moonshift Pictures account. So on there, I'm getting I kind of fell off the horse recently, so to speak, and wasn't posting for a while. But lately, I've been biting the bullet and I've been trying to remember to post more
Yeah.
on that account. So yeah, my Moonshift Pictures account, and also on Facebook, and then I also have another account on Instagram, Olbrecht0128. I don't think anybody will remember that. But yeah, if anybody wants to keep up with what I'm doing with Moonshift, definitely check it out. I have actually a new film that I'm working on right now called White Rabbit. That is all female cast, very kind of psychedelic horror. I'm really excited about. I'm in the middle of the 10th actually a rewrite of the script, and it's starting to get kind of good. So I don't know when I would actually be filming that, but yeah, that could be
Yeah.
the next one. So we'll
Well,
see.
I was gonna say the Rights also has Instagram too. You
Yeah,
Rights Movies.
Rights does have Instagram. Uh, I neglected it a
Oh,
little
it's all
bit,
good.
and I need to get back on that. I really, yeah, this is like one of my biggest weaknesses is kind of marketing myself and social networking. So, but yeah, Moonshift Pictures, Rights, and then there's also my personal account. on there as well. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely put the links below for all those. And,
cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah, of course. And Gene, where can the people find you?
You could find me on Twitter and Instagram, Gene9892. It's the same.
And you can follow me at the Diego Crespo on Twitter. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon. I think I got them all this time. We can get early access to episodes like this over at the Patreon for just $3 a month. Coming at you with hopefully some new commentaries and stuff like that. Get an early sneak peek at Legend of Korra stuff coming out. And yes, happy holidays. Everyone stay safe, stay warm. We've been professionally unprofessional.